Well, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the 11 a.m. Monday morning marketing webcast. I am your host, Chris Bernard. I hope you are doing fantastic and the weekend was swell. I don't know where you are at in the country. Um, it was cold. And what I mean by that is even the Floridians were cold. It was in the 30s this morning. It was pretty crazy. So, yeah, with the frost, every once in a while, I think it's every couple years, we get frost on the grass and stuff like that. So cover the bushes, all that great stuff. Thank you for joining me. Today, we're going to be discussing how to do keyword research right. Okay. So I am going to share with you a couple different things. First of all, demystify Google's estimates tools. I'm going to talk to you about the limitations of using those keyword research tools. Very powerful, very good, and there's a reason, there's a benefit to using them. And then I'm also going to work through the specific process of how to build out a keyword list. Now, some of this is going to take a little bit of time, so I'll try to make sure it's fast enough so at least you know the sources of keywords and things like that that you can go. There's some really great tools out there to build out massive keyword lists already. If you have a tool that's out there that you really like doing and using, by all means, go for it. Post it in the comments area, email me, let me know. I'd love to be able to share that out with people. Because again, the better we do this process, the better response not only for our agencies but ultimately for our clients, right? So, or if you are a client, you can actually do this well. So, first of all, let's start off with what is the source of typical keywords. And a lot of tools, whether it's Moz or Web CEO or any of these other tools that can be used to build out keywords quickly, run on estimates, right? They run on estimates typically from Google, and then they kind of add some seasoning and salt, and away you go. You've got your keyword list. SpyFu is another tool that we use as well. So you've got a whole bunch of tools that can help you build out keyword lists. And they're also usually pulling traffic numbers and estimates. Because again, the list itself really doesn't do you any good unless you know kind of how to prioritize those. And a lot of them will use that kind of methodology to figure out which keywords will have the greatest potential impact in your business. Okay, so we're going to be zeroing in on that specific goal today. So the estimates are just that, estimates. And you may be surprised. A lot of us have used the Google. We use the Google Keyword Planner tool as well. Don't get me wrong. Good tool. Good tool. In fact, you'll see this in just a moment. But you would be surprised, very surprised, to know that Google is not here to help you be very efficient with your cost per click or to grow your advertising. Google's main objective is, wait for it, to make Google money. I know that shocks a bunch of you. I know it really, really does. So you will have to kind of work through that process. Sorry, I muted you there. Work through that logic and thought process and see if you can reconcile that in your own head. I'm actually going to go ahead and click audio to make sure, yes, it is indeed the right microphone. Want to make sure I'm talking properly, at least in terms of the technology. The brain, who knows what you get there. But so Google is designed to make Google money. All right. So our philosophy is this at Doc29, right? We don't guess which keywords have the ability to drive potential traffic to your website and business. Okay. We run a test. Keyword insight is what we call it. So we take every possible configuration of keywords, competitors, with reviews, cities, all of this stuff, that product specs and things that somebody might type in terms of trying to solve a problem or a symptom that they're trying to research or whatever the case may be. Build out this massive keyword list, right? And then we go ahead and we do actually run it against the estimator too, just for fun in a lot of cases, because it is fun seeing what Google's recommendation is and then what the actual test result is. But let's say you got a small client, you're doing five different, cities around you or whatever it is that potentially could be pulling in traffic, right? So what you do is you build out that massive keyword list, you make sure where the cities are there, and then you actually run the test. So you use the Google AdWords editor and you go ahead and actually upload that into an AdWords account Depending on how large your list is, you got to get creative in terms of what you name the campaigns and what you name the ad groups, because there's limitations on those. I think it's what 2,000 or so for ad group or whatever, or maybe 5,000 for ad group or whatever the case may be. But you can load that stuff up and then you run the test in the geography that you're trying to do. And the benefit there is this: it's your product, your service, your marketplace against your competitors. Okay. With the estimates, there's a couple things that Google is, even if Google wasn't trying to do things underhanded, okay, it's still going to be skewed. And there's several reasons for that. First of all, your brand. Assuming that you're not ranking for the stuff right now, which is one of the reasons why you might do a keyword insight anyway. If you're not ranking for that stuff, you're not really part of Google's solution set yet, okay? So your brand recognition is going to be limited in that specific product or service or whatever keyword target you're going for. That's going to have an impact into the estimates. Google doesn't know what they don't know in that situation, okay? Competitors, right? So your competitors might be doing stuff. Right now, they're just kind of grouping your competitors in as a mass, right? If you're a surgeon, they're just kind of in mass. They're not looking at that keyword stuff. Let's say you're a vein center in Ohio, for example, right? So if you're a vein center in Ohio and you're not ranking for anything, and this is a new area, you're not, buying ads in there, you're not part of that solution set just yet, right? So they're kind of grouping all of your competitors in a type of category, not necessarily a specific keyword that you're going to be playing in for that specific market. Okay. The third thing is, again, because you're not ranking typically, that's again reason why you might be doing keyword insight to begin with. I wouldn't be recommending building out pages and focusing campaigns until you know what the market can bear and what its interest is specifically as it relates to your product and services. So the assumption is you're not ranking for these potential keywords that have this traffic, right? So the fact is your product and service is not on that website in some cases, or if it is on the website, it certainly is not crafted as a landing page, right, that has the best conversion because you hadn't really worked on it. There's dozens and dozens of things that you could be working on, and this is one of the many in the mix, but you want to go after the ones that have the greatest potential, optimize that landing page or landing pages for conversion, whatever those goals are, etc. Right? So that's the 3 problems associated with just using the estimator tools. And as I mentioned before, Google's main objective is to make money. So little tip for you here, right? So we do this quite often. Keyword Insight is $1,000 kind of program that we do. And basically we create the big list, we run the test. I'm going to work you through a specific example of that in just a minute. You then can evaluate, product, service, marketplace in this specific target area, right? You can say, these are the words that had the greatest potential based on actual impressions, right? Statistically valid impressions, okay? Because we're not looking to really drive clicks. We're looking at impressions. That's why this needs to be a new test, by the way. So when you take that, when you blow out that list, let's say it's 70,000 keywords, for example, for a local client or something of that nature. Our largest keyword list is 64 million. But let's say on average, like for a small, just a small single shop somewhere, 70, 80, 100,000 keywords. You test it live in Google. So you get that list, right? You run the estimator tool, right? And you go ahead and you actually do the test. So you can actually see what the comparison is. And time again, the results look very similar. So Google's recommendation, the one that they're recommending in terms of your estimates, will often rank the more popular terms, more competitive search terms, right at the top. So they're going to say that there's traffic associated with that specific search term, okay? That you can go after as long as you want to pay $3 or $4 or $5 or whatever it is per click. Okay. So that one keyword is usually a significant portion, 20, 30% in some cases, or more even, of that huge list's impressions. Most of them are going to be zeros, right? In terms of impressions. You run that right up against the test data. Okay. And you're going to find that number one key term is on the list of the top 10 in the test. But it's not 1. It drops down to something like 8 or 9 or 10 on the list. And typically the number 1 and 2s on the list were not even found in the top 10 or 15 or 20 of Google search estimates. And the reason why that is because, again, Google wants to make money. So if you take that test data, remember this pool over here is the test data, where the Google's recommended one is now like 9 or 10 on the list, and you sort not by impression for the test data, but cost per click, it's amazing how the lists look very similar. Just curious to know why that is, right? And it happens every single time we do it. So let me show you what we typically often do. And we use Google's estimate, the keyword planner. Let me show you this right here. Maybe I should show it to you. Maybe I won't. Maybe I can't. Don't even know. There we go. Share screen. Screen one. There you go. Boom. I'm on the side. Cool beans. All right. So this is a company that basically wants to target companies or people that are doing searches for fence and pool financing and things like that. Okay. Swimming pools. There's a whole bunch of potential keywords. So basically, with just these little keywords here, okay, in Google's keyword planner, which I probably should go to. If you don't know where the keyword planner is, that's fine. But in fact, let me pull that up over here while I'm talking to you, just so we're not sharing any great data for clients on this. So, I'm going to show you then. Should have probably pulled this up before, but that's okay. We'll just kind of work through it. In fact, I'll just pull up my keyword account because I really don't do AdWords because cobbler's shoes, right? Isn't that some type of joke like that? the cobbler, doesn't have proper shoes. His kids don't have proper. So what you're looking at on the screen is that list of core key terms. I'm going to pull up mine over here. Maybe. Yeah, we can do that. That's fine. Okay, cool. So if you don't know where the estimator tool is, let's just go ahead and pull this up so you guys can see this. I'm obviously running any AdWords. We've broken out. We have different campaigns that we would typically run, but I'm going to go into the keyword planner area. And I'm going to show you what typically we would probably do. So we'd have this short list of keywords. Now this is just to get an estimate, right? In terms of rolling up the sleeves, right? Rolling up the sleeves and kind of looking at potential traffic that's out there. There's two areas. There's discover new keywords and then to get search volume and forecast. And this, we're trying to build out that keyword list. So let's go back to our list of, let's say it's these two right here. Just real fun like. Okay. Now notice I didn't put in I just pulled the regular traffic just for fun. That's fascinating. This client is local. I'm going to, I don't know how many of your businesses are regional or state, but you can see I just got rid of, let's just do Florida for fun, just so you get an idea. There'll be some volume here then. But you can do zip codes, right? You can do cities, counties, right? You can do a whole bunch of different things. So net is, this is often where people go and they go, oh, well, I see, I've got my keywords here. I've got my monthly searches. I'm just going to search by this. I'm going to filter on down and I'm going to get my top keywords, right? I'm going to get the biggest, it says monthly searches. I am good. I can even see the trends in here, which is really cool. I can see the average cost per click going on in terms of bids and where I need to be for that. So this is all good stuff. Unfortunately, this again is wrong. You can kind of get some detail, and part of it's seasonality too, right? So, but Google's recommending pool financing, right, is the #1 search term, and the top bid range is going to be $3. Top bid is going to be 12 something. So you probably can land a bid somewhere in the 4 something mark, 5 something mark, somewhere in there, right? So let's go back, and so you can use that, export that data out, and by doing a small keyword list, you can use the estimator tool, right? The keyword tool, keyword build out tool, to come up with some pretty decent estimates. See most of these are under 10. This is the column right here that I'm really looking at, right? And then you'll see the ones I was zeroing in on to build out additional key terms. So these 5 went in, these 6 went in, and there's no traffic associated with these guys here, none. I don't buy that. Don't buy it. They're lying. They're flat out lying. So even if I take this key, let's just take all 5 of these guys just for fun. And let's go into Estimator Tools. I hate to say people are lying, but they're lying. I'm not telling you probably anything you really don't know. I can tell you this is one area where Google doesn't give you the entire truth. However, when it comes to actual like click fraud and all that stuff, they are awesome. They protect that and they do a fantastic job. I've had budgets of several $1 million a month in PPC, and time again, it's already credited back when click fraud. You won't even see it most of the time. If you have a hunch, right, in terms of click fraud, you can kind of report it, but they'll do an audit. It'll already be taken care of by the time you even get done with that audit. So again, let's just say this. I am searching out here, and I'm going to just look for the first Sarasota term, right? So as I go down this list, really? I don't know. I'm just going to filter it. It's not even here. Let me just add a filter. Right. So I want to see if it's still saying Sarasota's. Maybe. No. There's no Sarasota in there at all. Really? Even for the words I put in? I did put those words in. Funky doodles, right? I don't know why I'm looking for it, because it's going to be 0 anyway. So anyway, that's what I'm talking about. So this is just Florida. You know, there's no, let me even just do Sarasota, Tampa. Because it's one market really, right? So if I go ahead and do it and just kind of restrict that, do I see anything different? No. Okay, I assure you, there's traffic for these. I assure you, even though Google's showing none. And we'll even cover this maybe next week. We'll just kind of see the results. Maybe it'll be 2 weeks, because usually these take about a week and a half, a little more than a week to run, week and a half. Plus it's like 30 degrees outside. If anything, we should be looking at pool heater financing probably, but something of that nature. But anyway, have fun with this. Anyway, so the estimates are off. The estimates are off. So what we end up doing is taking our core keyword list. So just build a massive keyword list. So we may even start with something like this. Okay. So we'll start with like all of these 800 terms. And I'm actually just going to go ahead and blow in those key terms into start building on Excel. I don't know what about the additional. That's not really a keyword. So I'm actually creating this right now. This is going to be my official keyword list, right? So there's 800 and some words in there already. Now I know that these top ones had some traffic associated with them. Where are we going with this? There. Okay. I know these guys had some traffic to them. Okay. At least these top ones did. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I grab those guys. So without screwing this up too much, I'll just pull them in here separate so you can actually kind of see. So I mean, I'm seeing huge breaks here, right? So here's the thing with this keyword build out tool. You're limited to like 10, I think, in here, which is garbage because Google is basically trying to control you. So let me get rid of. I probably didn't need to get rid of that really. So I'm going to go ahead and grab 1, 2. I'm just going to guys. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and grab some of these higher trafficked ones in here. Maybe till, let's say there was 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay. And I'm actually going to go ahead and build those guys out and see. And I may even go ahead and, depending on the size of this list, because for whatever reason, you'll see the amount of keywords that you have in here get smaller. Get bigger, but get smaller. It all depends. So there are, let's see, 917 search terms in here. Now, a lot of these are going to be duplicates, right? So I'm going to go ahead and save this one. I'm going to blow out some of these other ones independently. So you can see out of that list of 10, there were 900 and something in there. I'm actually going to go ahead and just open that bad boy up. Now remember, I'm looking for that official tab. Right now, guys, I'm just getting keyword. So I'm going to go ahead to this book. I'm going to go ahead and official. I'm going to go ahead and add this on the back end. Okay, I'm trying to do this reasonably quick so you have an idea. I'm going to go back and add some of these other key terms, but I want to get you the concept of what's going on here. So I may just go ahead and say, all right, since this is going to be this is going to be probably the number one. I've got so pool financing. and pool loans. Those are going to be my two. I'm actually going to do those independently and see what numbers I get in my AdWords here. So if I just do no, that was not right. Pool financing. So if I just get results for this, okay, I'm going to get how many? 710. I remember my whole list with a list of 10 was like, 900 and something, right? So there's probably more in here specifically related to that. Maybe banks, you saw some banks in there and everything like that. So I'm going to do this for the top actual, like, probably 5 or 6 major keywords, right? So I'm going to go ahead and do this for them. And pop that sucker. And there's going to be duplicates in here, right? There's going to be duplicates in here. And you'll see that in a second. I'll show you how to get rid of those. All right. So pool financing. What was the next one? Pool loans. I'm going to do that one. Again, because Google limits the amount, I mean, I've seen some. The reason I do them one by one is, one, I like to see what's being pulled in, just to scan and see what's going on with it. Just so I have an idea. So if the client asks, what's some of the keywords that are in there? I tell them, like Lion. So the different companies that are in there, above ground pools and stuff like that. You'll see from that list, there is 590. So even though in our brains, right, it said, what was the key term? We have pool financing and pool loans. It's kind of like the same thing, at least in my brain. We're using them same data level. And it even looks like the average same monthly search is in there for those two things. They're not the same. They're not the same keyword lists that are associated with that. So again, this is why we build out the keywords with such precision. And the reason why, again, it's to, come on, baby. I don't know if that was my current list. There you go. Okay. It usually show up kind of a weird place. Okay. So I'm going to go back in my book again. I'm just adding these to the bottom. I'll show you how to do some of this stuff to clean it up. Okay. So you get the idea. I've done the first two, but I'm probably down this list and grab, this one, at least the 1,000 I see, the 800. I'm going to grab those independently and pop them into that spreadsheet. Okay. So that's one area that I'm actually going to go ahead and do. All right. So I'm using Google's keyword planner tool to build out that primary list. Another place is simply the client's website. You can go in and just create that core list. Like in this case here, I was given the core list from the client. But if they're trying to target certain things, I'm trying to look at their overall business. Maybe they do more than just pool financing. Maybe we do financing associated with other stuff. I'd be typing those things in, like literally creating an Excel, just a quick list of 10, 15, maybe 40 or 50 words that I'm seeing, not the derivations of them, because then when I get that list and run it through the estimator to get the ones that Google says are big, right? I will then be able to then ram those into the spreadsheet that I'm trying to build with my massive keyword list. Okay, so that's one area. On one area of keywords too. Create that core keyword list. Okay, and you can run it through keyword. Basically the keyword planner tool. Go through that exercise, build those out. Kind of what we're doing here. Another source of website traffic that you can go ahead and tap into, or in terms of keywords, there's a couple really good ones. Ones that I use are SpyFu. If you guys have a SpyFu account, let me pull what that looks like up. So keyword, let's see. This is actually a very helpful tool. Although again, it's only as good as the data has, right, with it. So you can do keyword research, right? So if I'm going to, you can pop in, let's say, a URL. You can actually do specific research associated with keywords in here. So you can basically pull the list out. Heck, let me do, what was it? Pool financing, was that it? Pool financing. Okay, so if you do pool financing, for example, there's going to be a whole bunch of lists of words in here that you can go ahead and actually export out. Okay, so similar keywords, questions, so you can export those out. So you do a view all and you can export them out, but you can see there's some traffic here. But again, I'm not actually targeting by a specific like city or anything. I'm just getting the list. And when you use a keyword list like this from here, because you didn't put those cities in, then you may have cities that are outside. It might be in Denver, even though it's Florida. Who knows? Maybe there's a Denver, Florida. I don't even know. I don't think there is, but never mind. So anyway, we're just trying to build a list. Don't worry about filtering that stuff out, because if we're targeting a certain geography, right? Like in this case, Florida, my ads only run in Florida in my geography anyway. So they're not going to be seen. Most of these keywords will never, ever be seen. Okay. We're just looking for those top, let's say it's 70,000 keywords. There's probably going to be like 100 to 150 words that actually got any impressions at all. And a significant portion of that, there'll be 15 or 20 words that are going to be 80% of your business, maybe 50% of your business, whatever, but at least you have a scorecard to how to go after this stuff. So this is another great resource for that. Another great resource is Answer the People. I kind of like this one, although, so Answer the People, I always get it mixed up. I think it's Answer the Public. Yeah, that's it. It's kind of a fun website anyway, if you're kind of geeky like that. So let's do pool. Let's see. They used to have a weird guy that kind of walked across the screen, kind of thought like what was going on. It was interesting, but really a cool visualization with this stuff. And basically it's asking questions. Who does pool financing? Who does swimming pool financing? Do any pool companies offer financing? Is financing, so all these great questions. You can download it as a CSV. You can create this massive keyword list. I don't typically use this anymore because I've actually never seen one that has been exclusively in here show up in actual keyword stuff. But it's still really, really, really cool. And what's the worst that can happen? It's in the list and it never gets searched, and at least there's a first time for everything. So this is another really good source of keyword data. Another one that we use often, and I think it'll flag if I don't do it this way. I'll pause for 10 minutes. So don't try and hack me while I'm doing this. is a Screaming Frog. And Screaming Frog is really good at finding keywords on the client's website, if they're in there, as well as competitors' websites. So you can spider, for example, even in Saifu, you can spider competitors' websites to get keywords as well, if indeed that's something that you want to be able to do. Typically, I have enough key terms that I don't really need to spider clients' websites unless they're direct competitors, and then in which case, let's say they were really kind of like, we're going to have an uphill battle, and I want to make sure that I got those keywords in there no matter what was going on with the client. So I will typically do that as well, right? I'll go ahead and do the search query, and let's see if I can. I'll just pick. Let's just pick Apple.com just for fun. I should have picked a smaller website. Okay, so you will see this, meta keywords area, right? It'll build. You can get keyword data from this stuff. You can even get keyword data from the pages themselves. I've often, depends on what the client and how structured this stuff, but the title as well, you can export this data out. You can export this data out and parse it how you want. Like there's commas in here, there's dashes in here. So another really, really, really good source of keyword data is found in these sheets as well. So net is you build out this massive keyword list, okay? And for products and services, in some cases in this case here, we're not trying to be optimized for the traffic. We're just trying to get all of the keywords out in front of us, right? So that we can go ahead and test it. So let's say this list was 10 times as long. I mean, likely after I actually do this exercise, because I just did a couple of these, it's probably like, for example, we have 3,100 words right now, and that was, probably about, there'll probably be close to 70 or 80,000 key terms in this one as well, just different ones. And that's before you kind of, there's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, actually, there's probably about 12 to 15 cities that we're going to be combining in this. So likely this keyword list is going to be in the neighborhood about 300,000 maybe, somewhere in there. 200,000, somewhere in there, because there's a lot of cities that they cover between Tampa and Sarasota. There's like all these little cities in there, right? So, yeah, so a lot of opportunity, and most of those, like I said, 99% of those will not get any traffic, any impressions at all. Okay, but the goal is to get them there. So, one of the things you'd want to be able to do before you took this list and upload it in Google AdWords Editor, which you don't know you should. You can make a lot of your campaigns very quickly in AdWords Editor. I always try to verify, though, that changes that I did do actually post. But like in this case here, it used to have to, it was great because you used to actually have to do like ones and zeros. So you have to sort like this. See how there's duplicates in here? There's 1, 2, 3, 4 duplicates, 1, 2, 3, 4 duplicates. Okay. So you used to say, okay, you used to have to write a formula here that basically said, all right, if this and this are different, show 1. If this and this are the same, show a 0, and then get rid of the zeros, right? So you'd make this an actual, you copy, paste the actual 1 or 0, and then you could sort by zeros and then delete them out. Then Excel, many moons ago, ended up actually doing the work where it was just basically this little thing right here, which is remove duplicates. And you go, boom, just like that. Okay, so now we're down to the 908. So that's really cool. Some of us are a little annoyed with the formatting of this, by the way. I hate the lowercase. I just think it's really sickening and stupid. So it used to be far worse with the dynamic keyword insertion, because then it would actually pull directly from this. So if you did the dynamic keyword insertion, it would be lowercase, like there'd be 15-year pool loans, but it'd all be lowercase, which is not good from a ads creative perspective. So you used to have to do proper, right? And then you could do this, right? And then you just paste that formula down all the way. Some of us are, in fact, let's just kind of just give you an idea of what's going on there, just so you can see it. Some of these formula, I mean, it's just, they're time savers, by the way, just to let you know. All right, so like in this case here, you see these are still formulas, right? So I'm going to go ahead, see even things like second. This is the problem, right? Second should look like a 2 lowercase n, lowercase d. So you would kind of scan that, right? And you'd say, okay, well, the 2 n's need to be 2n, right? Yeah. Yep. Oops, didn't match anything. Oh, that's why, right? And then paste it. So copy and paste special. It gets rid of all that stuff, right? Now I can do my find and replace. All right, boom, done. Okay, so assume that I did that for all of those, right? Now, remember we have, so like if I just uploaded like this, let's just assume that this whole thing is okay again, and it's now proper case. And make sure there's no spaces. Sometimes we get the list, depends on where you get your list from. There might be spaces near the end, especially if you see like 2 of the keywords are the same. And they're like, dude, the remove didn't duplicate, didn't remove the duplicates, right? Sometimes there'll be a space either before or after. Quick formula there, guys, is trim. Oops, TRIM. And then you would do the same thing. Boom. Right? And it will get rid of the spaces on either side. Okay? Just a quick tidbit there for you. So in this case here, we've got our keyword list. Let's assume this list goes all the way down, right? Which is fine. I also, if I were to just take this list and upload, there's a couple ways to do this, right? So in AdWords Editor, you've got that list of keywords. You can actually bulk upload the sucker, right? You can bulk upload them in. You can paste them, or you can bring it as a CSV, okay? So when you paste them in this, right, the problem with it is you have the opportunity, like it'll load them automatically as broad match. Okay, broad match means Google can take any part of this they want, right? I can put, as long as there's a word in there, like loans or pool or year or financing or whatever the case may be, mortgage, right? Google can put whatever they want in there. Like they can show that ad, okay? Usually you do phrase match or exact match, okay? And you used to be able to do broad, with the plus, whatever the plus is. broad. Can't remember the name of the word. It's a Monday. What can you say? But you basically, when you upload your keywords, basically say, okay, add a plus in front of it, and it has to have all those words in it. So you could use broad match Google, but only if it had second and mortgage and for and pool in there in some way, shape, or form. So that was a much better way to get volume, right? But Google has taken that power away from you. So, or they will be. I don't know if it is or not. We don't do it anymore because we're shifting, right? But it used to be a really, really, really good tool to be able to do that, to get that volume and still tell Google, I want only these things together. I don't want you deciding for me. Okay. So you can see after this big list, if you just try to upload this list alone, let's say it's 70, 80, 100,000 key terms, you're going to have an issue. Okay. Because there's maximums associated with campaigns. And so if you just upload this list, it's going to create ad group 1 and a campaign 1 or whatever default, it feels like, depending on what's already there. Problem with that is it's going to error out when you try and do an AdWords editor upload. Okay. So you have to get, in some cases, depending on how large your list is, you're going to have to get a little creative, right? So what I'm recommending to you is this. Is your keywords, and you can as such, right? Campaign, okay, and ad group. Now, depending on how big your keyword list is, campaigns can be set. It depends on the size of a keyword list. But a good tip is this, right? They just need to be separated out. So you can name them 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3. And you can just paste that list down. That's one way of doing it, right? You could do it that way. Another way you can do your campaigns and ad groups, because remember, you've got to keep the bucket sizes of, it used to be 100 campaigns in one account at one time. So you could name it 1 through 100 and then basically copy and paste 1 through 100, 1 through 100, copy and paste it. So you have all these campaigns with anything from 1 to 100. It doesn't really matter. Again, this is keyword insight. We're not looking at actually drawing. In normal campaigns, you would structure them properly, right? So knowing that they were pools, you have a pool account or a financing, a loan account, or banks identified, or interest rates, or something of that nature in terms of the campaigns to kind of keep things structured. And then you would break it even further in terms of the ad group. Look, we are just trying to see, this is going to run for about 2 weeks probably. Okay. And all we're looking for is on a new campaign, a new account. You have to create a new account. Okay. Because you don't want your history screwing around with it. We're just going to be using it for that. Okay. Now you may want to continue it long term. Doesn't matter. It's okay. But you go ahead and it's okay. No worries. You can go ahead and create that just this way, right? With the 1 to 100, or depending on how large, and often it'll be the ad groups where I have to do this, is I have to go ahead and mathematically be able to do a copy and paste across a large number of keywords, because I can't be doing the 100 thing. So I'll often use something like this, right? So I'll often take like the first 5 or 7 words, letters in the group. So I would do like left, left. And then I'm going to go ahead and take that whatever cell that is, remember, I'm going to copy and paste it down, right? I'm going to say, take the first like 5. It doesn't matter to me what this is, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'll cross my, let's say, whatever, 800,000 or whatever it is. It doesn't really matter, right? I'm going to paste it, write it on down there, okay? And you will have things like zero poo, which is kind of fun, makes you giggle. But you go copy and you do the paste special again. So it's an actual thing, right? And let's assume I did this, properly, right? Whatever. Did the 100. I've got my campaign set up. So this is now ready. If I save this, right, I can import into Google Editor, AdWords Editor, and upload into my accounts. Goes through the upload process, which is just fine and dandy. Now remember, Google has it so that Google has it so that when these things are uploaded, it's going to create them as broad match. So what you have to do is when you've uploaded, it'll give you confirmation is that's uploaded. Okay. You need to go in and make sure you change the settings. So you grab all the keywords and you change them to phrase or exact match. Okay. Another way to do that, if you wanted to do it right from this sheet, is after you built out all your keywords. I'll show you in just a second how to add cities in terms of Microsoft Access if you want. But basically, with this stuff here, I'm going to go ahead and you can do like the actual brackets, right? So you can remember this, the bracket here. I'll just do it real quick here so you can see. So the brackets, these guys, these guys are the basically the exact match, okay? Right? So that, I can bring these up and down, right? So I would basically be, again, doing this exact same thing, paste all the way down, whatever. Copy, I'm gonna paste special, right? So it becomes an actual thing as opposed to an equation. Okay, so I could create it so that, this keyword list is here. So I'm gonna go do phrase and exact, phrase exact match. I'm gonna go ahead and copy this column over, right? Because now these are all my good ones, right? Assuming that. I am not going to save that, by the way, because I actually start generating this list for a client. So you get the idea, though. I would actually be, getting rid of the column. But then I can now take this, several thousand key terms and the actual campaigns. So again, let me just hide this so that it looks like I'm doing what I'm doing. I would actually go ahead and, again, take all these 900 or 9,000 or 10,000. I'd copy it. I'd go right below it again, and I would paste it, okay? And then I would change that. So I'd highlight those new ones in there. Let's say these are the new ones. These new ones, I'd highlight these guys, okay? And I would actually swap out so I'd have I'd basically have the same list twice, right? Same campaign, same ad groups, but I'll go ahead and actually create then this find and replace, which would basically mean that this is now phrase match, okay? So I have both of those lists, exact and phrase match. I can just simply upload that into Google AdWords Editor, and away we go, okay? The reason I'm not showing you that process because literally information loads right in Google AdWords Editor. So, but if you want to know what that looks like, that little app looks like this, okay? You can go ahead and do that. There's no way for me to really hide that stuff and show you unless I open up a new account, and I don't have time to do that this morning. So anyway, it's very easy, very logical. It kind of connects it in to your login, whatever it is. It imports the stuff in, so you can go ahead and do that. You can even bring those campaigns in, see them there, and then upload them. It's very, very user-friendly. But that's a good way to create this list. If you want, one of the other things that we typically, so that's where I probably recommend most of you guys are at. If you want to really do a thorough list, take that list and you run it into Microsoft Access to get all the possible keywords. So like in this case here, let me just show you again. Let's go unhide these because that's just me. Unhide. I'm going to get rid of this. So hopefully you saw that. You're good with that. Okay. So what it would do, again, this is a small list, but it's cool. It's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and actually save this. I'm just going to name it something like book 1 right now because let me go ahead and just put it in my account. And downloads just for fun. I don't know. We'll see what it pulls in. I think it's. Well, I'm just going to put in downloads, just because. That way you can't know exactly who it is. So I'm just going to save that somewhere. Now, what I will typically do here is a great site out if you want to start adding zip codes. I want to start adding codes to things, zip radius. Okay. Good stuff here. Okay. So as you can see, it's a little bit of work, but let's just say I'm going to give you, I'm just gonna add my zip code just to give you this exercise at this point. You can set the mile range. The maximum is much higher. It used to be only like 30. Now it's huge again, which is fine. It's cool. But let's say it's only 30 miles, or in some cases, let's say even 10 miles. Let's just do 10 miles. It'll be a little bit easier. See? All right. So my zip code, right? Oh, let's do my old zip code. No, because it's got Florida stuff in it. So, in fact, let me do, well, you know what? Let me just do 3, 4. Let me just do that one. Okay, so draw radius. Let's see. So 10 miles around me, there's like very little, but that's cool. There's only 4. So, which is funny because Palmetto's not in there. Let's just make it larger so we have something to work with. Can I make it a little bit like 20 maybe? Can't believe that's only 10. It's ridiculous. I guess that makes sense. The city center is a little different. There we go. That's better. Okay. Yeah, it's a nice data set there. So I'm going to copy that bad boy there. This is where for those people that are not data geeks, for you, it's okay though. I love you anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and create all this other garbage in here. I'm actually trying to. There's a couple ways to get this data, right? So in this case here, it's a little bit too much for me. I probably would, if I were to get rid of these cities, I would probably just like do the top cities near Tampa. Just do that search. There's lists out there for you. But this is one way of doing it. Oh, what's the right here? Sorry. And you gotta love this format too, right? So it's funny how there's different tools for different things. So I don't know if there's a better way to do this. It's pulling up Word over here right now. There you go. Okay, so if you do this, you've got all these little, and you have to use Word for this for whatever reason. I don't know why. So you do a find and replace with this in Word, comma, right? So I have my huge list going on. Let's say there's a lot of keywords in there, right? Special formatting. We got manual line breaks. So we're going to replace them all. Boom! I get a nice vertical structure. Very exciting, right? All of you people. You saw that. Look at that. Did you see the little things in there? The little extra spaces in there? Okay. I want to try to avoid some of that stuff. We may use our len on that. So I'm going to go over here again, get rid of this guy. Notice I did copy paste that. Now let's see. I don't see the little guy in there. There's nothing in the front. Okay, good. All right, so I've got my cities here. Insert. Okay, I'm gonna do my geos. Okay. All right, that's my first one. So I got my geos and geos. I've got my keywords in there. Now I want to go ahead and make sure I append these suckers, right? So I'm going to close this out. I'm going to save it. I'm going to open up Microsoft Access. Because, by the way, it is important to do this. Again, the cities are important. Google pulls, even if listen carefully on this one. Even if you do a general search for, let's say, pool financing, Google knows and cares about your zip code and your location because it matters to the search query. So if your keyword is targeting Parrish or Palmetto or Bradenton or Tampa or Sarasota, your keyword is more appropriate for that. Okay. So and if you did a search for that, right? Pool financing Tampa, for example, Google wants to show the guest the best user experience. So if your page is built out for that, if the conversions are optimized around that, because now if you have a specific Tampa location, you know who your competitors are, you know who you're targeting, you can target that offer in that area. Your landing page can be that much better, right? So that's really, really, really important. So it's very important to go through this process of building out all the possible keywords. It certainly is. So I'm going to go ahead and new data source. This is Microsoft Access. If you're not familiar, Microsoft Access. fans, Microsoft Access. I'm going to go ahead and get the file from Excel because that's what we were just working in. And go ahead and browse. In this case, I'm going to get the file. All right. So in this case, I would normally put it into like an actual file folder for a but I'm not doing that here right now because I don't want to share with you who it is. So here's my list. Oh, you know, I didn't put all those. I didn't copy the whole thing down, did I? Of the keyword group. We'll see. Maybe I'll just get rid of the other ones just to exercise this quickly. It doesn't really matter if you have campaign the number in there. Again, we didn't want that auto number to show up in the campaigns as much. It doesn't really matter here. So if we look at official campaigns, I'm just going to get rid of the ones that are not. I don't love this here. You know what I can do? Very frustrating. You know what? Let me just work this, and I'll show you how to do it. Again, what I'm complaining about, my own little brain here, trying to go quick, is I didn't paste all the campaigns down. I have it to only a couple of hundred or whatever, right? See how the campaigns drop off there. So anyway, I'll just give you an idea as to how to do that. I've got my keywords in here. I have my actually I can do a query and remove that. But let me get the extra data for the geos, right? And again, there might be a better way to do this, guys. You'll do this in Excel quicker, don't know. But this is the way that we've been doing it for a while. And we actually have databases already set up to go pull this data. You just name the file and have it yank in. So there's definitely synergies once you do it once. But I'm sharing with you guys so that you can see what's going on and how to build it for the very end. So I'm just basically importing the stuff in, okay? And I should have my geos table, boom, okay? So I've got my keywords in my official area. I got my geo in the other, okay? And, right, so these are going to be what we're pulling here. Now, there's a couple of different things to consider, all right? We do want, potentially, we really want 3 lists. The primary keyword list that we just have, but we also want one with the keywords in the prefix. So Bradenton pool financing, okay? But we also want pool financing Bradenton, okay? So the city before and the city after. They are different. We search things differently in different parts of the country. On the west coast of Florida, we search with the city after. So we would do the pool financing Tampa, okay? That's in the west coast of Florida. On the east coast of Florida, they will do West Palm pool financing. City first. Don't know. Must be a New York, New Jersey thing. Don't know, okay? But on that east coast, it's like 3 times the volume for the city on the front end to the back end. Weird. You don't have to take my word for it. You do the keyword research and it'll tell you. And it's anyway, right? Which is beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and actually do a quick query. And this is a very simple query, you guys. A couple of really quick, simple queries. So the first one is going to be using the official, okay? And I want to go ahead and just grab that sucker. And basically, I have the ones I want. I'm good with this. I'm just basically highlighting those, dragging those down. If I were to just view this, you would just see the normal program. In fact, actually, I'm going to go ahead and remove. Yeah, I'll just keep it in there. No big deal. You guys are smart enough. You can figure it out. So if I just run this, it's just going to run a search query, just a query and show me. But I want to actually do a make table query. Okay, so I'm going to do a table. I'm going to say final. I'm going to sucker. And saying, hey, I'm going to paste these guys, these full row, 3,000, whatever rows. So it's just basically put that same stuff in this new category, right? It is really going to drive me crazy that is there. It's cleaned up at the end. All right, so I'm going to go back. I'm sorry. So that's fine. I typically will save this query. It'll ask me if I try and exit out. Yes, that's fine. And I usually name it as QMake. This is our old configurations of. You don't have to name it anything. You name it nothing. You can name it Q. You can keep it query one if you wanted. But I'm just going to say make QMake, right? So I'm making a table. Let's say TBL final, just from my own brain, right? You see how it kind of puts it in a separate area. I can always rerun that sucker if I want to. Okay. So anyway, now I'm going to go ahead and create a new one. And again, all this can be done once, and then you just use the same queries for new files and stuff. But now I want to go ahead and take this list, this one here, I want to go ahead and combine it with this geo one. I'm sorry, not the final. Silly man. This one with the final, the geo. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and if I do not put anything in with this geos, it does it for all of them. Okay. So you'll see really fast that I'm going to go ahead and bring these guys down. I'm going to get rid of the, did I bring the ID down? I think I did. There might be a conflict there, but we'll find out. It'll explode and you'll see smoke. It'll be terrible, just terrible. So the campaign I'm cool with. All right. I'm cool with the ad group. Now what I want to be able to do is I'm going to be working on this specific keyword area, and I'm going to put the geos on the front end. So the cities on the front end. So actually what I am going to do is I am going to, do I want to do Zoom? This might be easier. I usually just do Zoom, but let's say build. I hate using build because it's so confusing to me. I'm going to do it the way I want. So you just have to work with it. You can use build and do like the click. You can find your table, you can find your query and stuff like that. You can go do all of that stuff, right? I don't really want to do it that way because it's really kind of a pain in the butt. Speaking of that, where is the, that's fascinating. I just want, oh, there's the tables. Okay. So you can actually, go find the table, whatever. In fact, you can, let's just do it while we're here. So I want to basically go ahead and add, I hate doing this because then you have to screw around with it. So I'm going to go ahead and just go ahead and add it right here. Boom. I'm going to do okay. So I can see what's going on with it. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this keywords, right? So it says official. That's the name of the table and keywords. Okay. Whoops. There's two little guys. Notice I put a little dot in there because it's saying, oh, that's the table. That's the field. Real simple stuff here, guys. Real simple stuff, I know. But then I'm also going to, I want to put the geo in front, right? So I'm going to put equals and my geo table column. Okay. Now, if I were to just run this, it would simply put the geos thing and the keywords thing, but I want something in between it called a space. So I will add that. Now you will see from this equation, again, real simple, ampersand, and then in quotes here, I left a space. So equals, put the geo, the city, do a space, and then do the keywords, right? So what's going to happen when we do okay in here, okay, it goes ahead. I'm just going to run this, and you see, voila, looky there. It's got the city, and then it's got the keyword. Shocker, right? And depending on, I may change this ad group name a little bit. You can simply go ahead and do exactly what we just did. You can put like the ampersand, space, dash, or whatever it is, prefix. So a lot of times I'll actually end up doing that even for these campaigns. So I will do, for example, I could do equals, right? And I could do the prefix. So I'll do prefix. Okay. See? Actually, I can even do like dash, right? Right, something of that nature, ampersand and campaign. Now, since there's only one campaign in here, I really don't have to put that in. It'll automatically do it for me. But you can see prefix and then the campaign, whatever I had in there, okay? You see that the title kind of changed on that one. It really doesn't matter, to be honest. Okay. Whoops. I almost lost my mouse here. Oops. Yeah. So campaign can't be named the same thing. It doesn't really matter because I'm actually going to be changing the name. We're going to be doing basically a append. So does this look good? This looks good, right? I've got my boom, boom, boom. I've got my, so this is the prefix document. Now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to append the other table, the table which is right here. Okay. So, and it's in this database, right? Okay. So when I run this sucker now, it's going to add 56,000 words. Remember, we haven't really got started, right? Remember how short our list is? It's only like 900 words long. Okay. So that's pretty impressive stuff. So you've got your keyword list here, the original, right? But then you keep going down and you've got your, right? Your prefix and your post, you just brought it to the top again. Remember, we didn't have keywords in that other stuff, so that's why. Okay. I could just really just remove it with a null here in just a second, but I'm not going to do that. So that's our prefix. What about our suffix? Okay, so we can close this. Yes, I do. I want to save it just in case I have to run this again, or maybe add keywords or whatever the case may be, or I'm going to do this again for another client, or I'm going to do this another time to make sure I get all the keywords I want. So I'm going to do a append query in this case. I'm going to say table final. But I'm going to say this is the first one. This is the process one, because I'm going to do a 2 here in just a second. I could have named it prefix or something of that nature. Doesn't matter. The process is going to be the same. What I am going to do is I'm basically going to copy this and paste. I'm going to actually make a copy of this because I'm going to use pretty much a similar structure, right? In terms of all my functionality. I'm going to rename this stinker so I don't get confused, which I do quite often. So this is my second query. And again, the reason for the second query is, remember this, oops. Wait, where did my, say, or if you screw up, right? Was that first query really that? Huh. Weird. Because I want, wait a second. Did we have, oops, no. We had our table in there, didn't we? Okay, so that formula was kind of weird. I think so in this case here, I've gotten somewhat confused because what I don't see is the pane in it. I don't see the campaign number in there. So something is awry, my friends. So I'm going to go ahead and rerun this QMake. It's going to do it again. Tell me that number in there. It should just be the one thing I had before, okay, which is fine. Now with this one here, I want to make sure I get that campaign number in there. So, because if I don't, I'm kind of hosed. So in this case here, I want it, yes, but I want to change this guy here to add that prefix. So equals, again, prefix and prefix, because I want that campaign title to be in there. I wonder if I didn't save it or something. Okay, so I'm going to append it. Oh. So I have to get rid of that. Okay. That's what it's trying to tell me. It's like, hey, dude, you gotta actually. I mean, it will create it, but since there's nothing in it, it's not going to be able to add it. All right. That's why you need to do your regular stuff. Let's go ahead and I think you guys get the idea though. So that's basically what you end up doing. So prefix, suffix, And then you're able to then take that document as you see it in order to, because the reason why the campaign is blank for those, I'm running a script on something that doesn't exist. So that's why it's telling me, hey, stupid, you don't have anything in that field. You can't do anything with it. So yeah, so go ahead and create that, upload it, and at the end of the day, what you're going to see after you upload it and run your test for about a week and a half to 2 weeks, you're going to go ahead and actually see that data fall out to where you can actually look at, you can take that same data that you have, run it up against the impressions, and you will be amazed at the difference between those two things. Your product, your service, your marketplace, those keywords are very different from the estimator tool. So I hope that helps you guys out this week. I wish you the best. Give this a whirl. If you have any questions at all and how to do it, how to set it up, and how to run it, by all means, feel free to reach out. Remember to subscribe, please share, and we'll talk to you later. Have a great rest of your week, you guys.